Cool. Have you guys written your homework and your plan book? Yeah, I feel like some of those yeahs are not real yeahs. Get back in the habit. You guys know we only have 12 days of actual school between now and holiday break, winter break, whatever you want to call it. No, 12 school days between now and then. So we have this week, next week, and then Monday, Tuesday, and that's it. Yeah.
Is today the 30th?
Yeah, all day. Yeah.
Today's 11:30 all day long.
Okay.
I can't wait till it's December
All right. So when you go to stores, anyone go out on Black Friday, by the way?
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Did you see any sales that were percentage based?
Nope. Yup.
So one thing that I want to reference really quick, because I may go do this tonight.
I accidentally spent all my money at Dave & Buster's.
Accidentally? So when you go to the Target website today, Target's Cyber Monday deal is you save 15% on everything. Now, to figure that out, they would have to know what 15% is, either before you make your purchase or after you make your purchase. Either way, is that 15% going to be the same amount on every single item through the store? No, it's going to vary based on what? The price of the item, right?
Yeah.
So if I buy a Hot Wheel car and save 15%, and I buy a TV and save 15%, which one will I save more money? The TV, right? Because a percentage of the whole amount determines how big that percentage amount actually is. Not the percentage, but how big the part is, the amount that you save. So when we look up here, we got boxing gloves, face mask, and a speed bag. I want you to determine which of these you think is the best deal. Which is the, if you had to pick what's the best savings up here, the best deal. What do you think? Yeah.
This is just an estimate. I think that speed bags will have the most.
Why? How much do you save on the speed bag?
$11.
$11, right? How much do we save on the face mask? $5, right? How much do we save on the gloves? $8, right? Now, if we want to talk about this as a percent, James,
They're all the same.
how? How did you get your percentage?
I divided the was by now.
Ah, so you found out, so you did it a little bit differently because you got values over 1, right?
Yeah.
So what we actually want to do, and if you look at the learning target up there, I can determine a percent markup or markdown based on evaluating the change compared to the previous price. So our change here was $8. The previous price was 40. 8 out of 40 is what decimal? 0.2, right? Or 1/5, which is a 20% savings. Here, my savings compared to the price that it was, again, is a 20% savings. And over here, my savings compared to the price that it was, again, is a 20% savings. So even though we save more with the speed bag, they're all actually the same percentage discounted.
So it's the change divided by what it was.
So there's 2 different formulas that we have to deal with. But if you always remember that your denominator is the old price or the previous price, that's what will help you not get goofed up. Because if we look at part 1 here, we're going to start talking about t-shirts. So one of the things that I did in college...
Stores buy their merchandise at a cost.
My fraternity...
To make a
buy
profit,
shirts,
stores sell the
print them, and then
merchandise
sell
at a
them for
price that
profit.
is higher.
That was one of our fundraisers that we had. So when we determine a markup, every store anywhere marks their prices up because they have to make money. You don't make money, you can't stay in business. You got to pay your bills, you got to pay your employees. So if we look at the cost being 16 and the selling price being 28, what is their markup amount? What did they change the price by?
$12.
$12, right? Then if we compare that to what the price was, well, to find the amount of markup, and you might, because on your notes, accelerated percent 6, did I open that? I did. Right here, you might, right where it says markup, put the selling price minus the cost. Because what they sell it for minus the cost they paid, that's how we find our markup. And you could show that we did this by doing 28 minus 16 if you want. I just did not put all that on the notes. So then we want to evaluate that as being the amount of change over the original quantity. If you have a highlighter or something right here on your notes, I would highlight this, that your percent markup is the amount of change divided by the original, or you could say the previous. Shaheeb?
If you divide 28 divided by 16, you get 175%.
Right, so you found that the new cost is not an increase, but you found it is like a multiple of the previous cost. We want to talk about the increase amount. So then you would just have to subtract 100 off your percent. So, Shaheeb, instead of subtracting the 16 originally, since you didn't subtract the 16, you then have to subtract the 100% at the end. You have to subtract somewhere. We like to subtract at the beginning. So my markup we know was 12. The original cost the store paid was 16. 12 divided by 16 is 3/4 or 75%. So we know that the increase to the price was 75%, which, like Shaheeb just told us, that means that the new price, you could almost out here somewhere, say the new price is 175% of the cost, or of the original. Because you have the original, what they paid for it, and an additional 75%. So the new price is 175% of the old, because there was a 75% markup. Questions? Let's try the example and look at each of these 3 items. So we are at a store that somehow sells notebooks, bicycles, and cars. It's a pretty wide variety store. Whether you need a new mechanical pencil or a new Mustang, they'll take care of you right here.
I get it.
So, what is the amount of markup is the first thing you're looking at. What is the amount of the price change to help me compute that percentage? So my markup there is, Pranav? $1.25. The original cost, or the previous cost, was 25 cents. Remember, it's the old, the previous, what was before. So when we do that division, now wait, we get 5? So it's a 5% markup? Ah, this is in decimal form. We must put it into percent form, so it's really a 500% markup. They have increased that price literally by 500%, which places will do that. When they buy something really, really cheap, they'll mark it up a bunch so that then they can put it on sale. Because if they had a sale where all notebooks are 50% off, well, now the notebook would only be 75 cents, and they'd only make 50 cents now, which is still good profit, and you think that you got a great deal because you got it for 75 cents off, or 50% off, depending on which way you look at it. Try the same thing with the bicycle and with the car. Stick up a hand if you're having any issues. We're going through cards for these answers.
Oh, so when you make it a percent, you add this up.
You move the decimal 2 places or add 2 zeros. But it's not always 2 zeros. That's what's dangerous about saying that.
Right.
My suggestion would be do the work for the car off to the right, so you don't have to try to fit it all under there. Karen, what is my amount of change in the price for the bike? $120, right? What was the cost, James? Like the previous?
It was
180. Now one easy trick that you can do here, get rid of stacked zeros. We really have 12 over 18, and Nate, 12 over 18 is really what fraction? 2/3. 2/3, and 2/3 is really what decimal?
0.6666.
0.6 repeating, so really that as a percent,
Is 60, like,
we'll round.
Yep.
We'll say 66.7%. So they have not even doubled the price. They've not even doubled the price. They've only increased it by 66%. So, think about this. Could they run a 50% off sale on the bike?
I don't think so.
No.
150 and they'd be losing 30 bucks.
Yeah. Say that again, Zach.
So since it's 300 and they did a 50% sale, it'd be 150 and then they'd be losing 30 bucks.
Yeah, they'd be losing money at that point. In order, and we talked about this last week when we did percent change up or percent increase, percent decrease. In order to go 50% off, you have to have increased by a minimum of what percent? In order to be able to cut the price in half to put it on sale, what would you have had to initially increase the price by? Or do to the price? Cheap? Double it. You would have had to increase by at least 100. Since this percent is less than 100%, you know that we can't mark the price half off because we didn't increase it enough. Now with the car, what's my increase for the car? Nate?
$4,000.
$4,000. The original cost that it was, Leah, what goes in my denominator here? Ah, you fell into the trap. We always want the previous amount. The previous amount here is my 8,000 actually. So be careful. It's always the increase over the previous amount. So really, I could get rid of all those zeros that are stacked. What fraction do we have when we simplify? Anyone? Half. Which, what's that percent increase? 50%. So they only increase the price by 50%. Because guys, it's already really expensive. They can't increase the price by a whole lot because then people won't buy it. If you try to increase that price by 500%, no one's going to buy the car. They're going to go somewhere else. I really doubt at $12,000. So try the got it on your own. You want to find now. If you're having any issues, I would write your percent equation as the change over the previous. Because especially when we get to markdowns, that previous is going to help you. So if I was you, I would write that on your paper that the percent is going to be the change divided by the previous. of you get that got it, go ahead and try the final got it there. Noah, what division should I set up here? 240 over what? 240 over 310, which I could really simplify to 24 over 31. What did you get, Noah? Sure. 24 over 31. Don't think they really have any easy common factors. Nate, I don't care. Somebody give it to me.
Oh, okay. I got like 77.774 or something like that.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long number.
So then we can round.
77%.
So approximately 77%.
Can I do the next one too?
We're going to give a second for people to do the next
I
one.
haven't done it.
So the next one is a little bit difficult because you're finding the amount of markup. So when we're given the percent and we're asked for the amount of markup, I would on your paper, remember AMT is amount. To find the amount of markup, we take the percent times the cost. So here, that's going to be our percent of 90%, but again, to do math, we have to use the decimal form, times the original cost of 20. That's to find out how much markup there is. So, I believe there's a part in digits that I'm skipping past. Nope.
How is it a markup here?
Because that's how much they're going to mark the price up by. That's not going to be the final price. That's going to be the
gotcha.
amount they change the price by.
What?
Is it mad at me? There we go. So, Grace, do you have the amount of markup that we have here? How much is it? $18, right? That's not the price. That's the increase to the price. So now, Grace, what should I do to find the price? We're going to take the initial cost to the concert hall plus our markup. So we take that initial 20, add the 18, and my price ends up being $38. Questions, comments, concerns? Cool. Flip to the back. This is why I gave you the formula that I gave you, change over previous. Because now when we start dealing with markdowns, change over previous is a nice, easy way to remember that now your denominator is what they were trying to sell the item at. So we have our shirt for $28. Nobody bought it. $28 was too expensive. So we put it on sale. We put the shirt on sale for 21 bucks. To find the markdown, not the percent, but the amount of markdown, again, find the difference. Well, $28 to $21, how much did we mark it down by? $7, right? So we find that markdown is $7. Then we take to find our percent decrease. Again, it's the amount of the change, but now the original quantity they're talking about is what selling price they wanted to try to get for it. What selling price they had it priced at previously. So now I put that 7 over top of 28 since 28 was what they wanted to mark it out. So this is what you need to fill in on your notes. So on your notes where it just says percent markdown is markdown divided by selling price. So that markdown was 7. The selling price had been 28. That reduces to 1/4, and that gives us a 25% markdown. So now it's not the cost to the store in the denominator, it's the price they were trying to charge previously. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's why for either of these, you could just use the change over previous. I think that formula is a little bit better, a little bit simpler. So we want to start by finding the greatest dollar amount the SOFA can be marked down by to then find the percent. Excuse me. So this SOFA was on on sale for $1,599. Nobody bought it. Too expensive. All this store cares about is not losing money. They could even break even and they don't care. They just want to get rid of this sofa and not lose money. So what's the greatest dollar amount that we could mark this sofa down by without losing money? So what we're really asking is, how do we find the markdown amount? Not the percent, but how can we find how much we can mark it down by? What would be the cheapest we could sell it for without losing money? No? Yeah, if we paid $835 for the sofa, we can sell it for that much and we'll break even. We won't make money, but we didn't lose money. So to find the markdown amount, just find the difference between those. $1,599 minus $835. That tells me that my markdown, the most I can take. Well, I don't know the answer. 764? Sweet. So that's the biggest percent, or sorry, the biggest amount I can take off. But now to find the markdown percent, it's that 764, actually I'm going to write it out, the change over the previous So my change now is 764. Previous was 1,599. Not what the store paid for it, but what they were trying to charge for it. And now I want the decimal out to 4 places so we can talk about that. What do you get, Peyton? 47.
4777.
So we get 0.47779. Do I round up to 48%?
No. No, because you would lose money. Yeah, you would.
Zach, say that again.
You would lose money then because you're going.
The greatest.
You're taking off.
Zach's absolutely correct. This, precisely how it's written, is the greatest that we can mark this down without losing money.
That would be going
If we increase our percent any more, we're going to lose money. And I'm probably going to lose my job. If you make your store lose money, people are not happy. So if we want to talk about the greatest whole percent, what percent could they say this sofa has been discounted? 47%.
They would still be making money just not a lot.
Yeah, they would make a very small amount of money off of it. I mean, we could figure it out. If we take 47% off what percent is on? What percent do I pay? Baylor? 53. If 47% is off. So to find out what we're going to pay now, we could just calculate 53% or 0.53 times that original $15.99. If we bought this sofa, we would pay, did you get it, Nate?
47.
It gave me an error. Let's calculate it down.
So it'd be 0.53.
I got it. Wait. Did you guys get the joke?
What? Yeah, it should be 847.47.
So guys, we just by rounding down, we now actually will make the store $12. A little less than what you'd want to make on a sofa, but it's better than losing money.
So, are people trying, like, are store people, like, who, so, like, if you were working in your jewelry department
Yeah.
back at Macy's,
Yeah.
Do you, like, try to scam people to make more money?
You want, so the consumer pricing is very, very tricky because you want to put the item, you want to make as much money as possible while moving the product as quickly as you can. So if I make my price too high, no one's going to buy it. If I make my price too cheap, I won't make very much money every time someone buys it. So you want that perfect little like window of what can I price it that people will buy it and I will make money.
So, you have
So
to do math.
Black Friday, the whole point behind Black Friday is we're going to make a little bit of money a lot of times. A lot of people will buy this. Non-Black Friday times, like other sales times, is we're going to make more money, and if not as many people buy it, we don't care. We'll wait for the people that want to buy it. So it's kind of the difference of, do I make a lot a few times, or do I make a little bit many times? And that's kind of the supply and demand consumer pricing. And you don't want to sell out. If you price something too cheap and you sell out, you're like, well, crap, I should have priced it higher. Like, now I've ran out. So that's the issue. Pranav?
So when you sell something for the manufactured price, wouldn't that, like, so you don't...
No, so MSRP, is that sort of what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So that's manufacturer's suggested retail
Like a retail
price. So whenever you see MSRP on something, and most games are at the MSRP, that's what, like, that's not the cost that they charge the store. That's, hey store, you should charge this because everybody else is going to charge this. So if GameStop gets in a game and the MSRP is like $49.95, and they decide to put it for sale at $45, they're below the MSRP. They're probably going to be cheaper than Walmart and the other game stores. Or they could even go higher than the MSRP if it's really popular. They'll be like, oh, we only have 5 of these in our store. We're going to charge $60 for it.
So that would be the demand too.
Yeah, if there's a high demand, you can charge more. If there's a low demand, you probably have to charge less. All right, let's try this next one on your own.
Alrighty, guys.
So if the selling, I know these numbers are kind of easier. If the selling price that we wanted to charge was $250, the sale price, what we will sell it for, is $200. What's the percent markdown? I will tell you the trapdoor is a lot of people choose the wrong denominator here. A lot of people choose the wrong denominator. Seems like you probably do.
I've got a dry phone.
Yeah.
Is this it? The wrong denominator?
I've got another story that if we have time in class will creep you guys out.
Yay. Well, I do have like personal marketing videos and say,
You know, so I need to bring some to school.
And it's like cracked.
Is it like right in here?
It's right here. Like on the tip of my oven.
Yeah. Right in here, a lot of people get dry skin. So, Zach, we've already talked a lot. Lily, can you tell me what division I should set up here?
50 divided by 200.
You fell in the trapdoor.
No, I didn't write the first time, and then he said.
So it's always
Okay,
divided by
I
the
got the right answer, though.
previous price, right? So my denominator should be what they wanted to charge which then is what percent?
20%.
It is 20%. So remember, your denominator is what they your denominator is what they wanted to charge, but now that is the previous price because it's no longer what the price is. So you should have 20% discount there. Oh, we're out of this. So, Relax Yoga is running a sale. They buy their mats for $15 a piece. A lot of manufacturers, when they sell things, they might put it just at a flat dollar amount to make your math easier. Like, oh, if we want to buy 100 of those, it'll be $1,500. No hard math to do. So the store has a sale the following week. Does the store still make money? And if so, how much? So their mats are standard priced at $38.99. This week, let's say for Cyber Monday, they're on sale for 20% off. So I challenge you to solve this two different ways. I want you to first find the amount of discount and then do the subtraction. And then the second way I'd like to see is, can you do it the off-on method? If it's 20% off, what percent is on? So really, how do I calculate my price? I wish I could go further beyond. Just do this. Jackson, for the traditional method, what's the first thing that you're doing?
What? You find the difference between the previous price and the sale rate. How much you bought it, the manufacturer sold it for, and how much the sale price.
We need the sale price, right? So since this is the normal price, we have to calculate our sale price, right? So to do that, we've got the two different methods. I'm going to do the first method up top. We take the amount of discount times what we're selling it for. 99, yeah, it is. And we find the amount of savings, or the amount of discount. See?
Would rounding mess it up?
Yeah, don't round to the end. It probably won't mess it up. But like, so here we get 7.798. So since we have an 8, that 8 would round the 9 up and we get 780. Which is probably the same thing that we'd get if we'd just done $40, which is probably what you were wondering about. So then we take our $38.99 and subtract that. Subtract the 780 from it. So they still make profit. How much profit?
$13, no, $16.
So the profit would be the difference between their selling price and what they pay, because profit is how much they make. So their profit would be $16.19, just the subtraction. Now, here's the off-on method that I like to call it. If it's 20% off, what percent is on? 80. So my on, I could say 80% is what I will pay. And when we do that, we get $31.19. We just jump right to our sale price. So instead of having a multiple step process, and we did this last week with the surfboards, I think, or maybe that's tomorrow's lesson. Have we done a problem with surfboards yet?
No, sir.
Okay, it's tomorrow's lesson then. But we'll practice this method more tomorrow, where we talk about well, I don't have to find the discount and subtract it. I could just find what is the sale price. Make sense? So if I go back to Target, and I know that everything at Target today is 15% off. What percent would I pay on an item? What percent would I have to pay? 85%, right? So let's just say if I randomly go and find a TV. Ha ha ha. That's funny. Because it's Cyber Monday, they're having a whole lot of web traffic. So, convenient for you guys, I was looking at TVs this morning. So, if this TV is priced at $599.99, let's just say $600 for our math, and we want to compute what the sale price will be, well, if it's 15% off, then I would pay 85% of my rounded $600. So what is 85% of that rounded $600? Here's the other thing you can do. If you know what 10% is, you can find 5% and you can add them together. So if I did 10%, that'd be $60. 5% would be $30. Surely my combined savings would be $90. What'd you get for your answer, Nate?
$510.
$510 because I saved $90 actually.
That's not that much though.
It's a lot cheaper than it would if I paid a full $600.
Still $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was $600.
I want a TV for $800.